All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Yo, what's up, We Book It fam? This is your boy, Big Daddy C, coming at you with a new episode of the Who's Next on NXT, or Who's Next in NXT. Stepping in for Virgil tonight. So basically, kicking off the show, we had a pretty much recap of what happened last week. You know that Layla Diggs had earned a one-on-one shot against Zaria for the Women's North American Championship. However, Robert Stone did announce that Diggs was not cleared to compete for the night, so Zaria will be awaiting an unannounced opponent for her title. First matchup on the card, we had the NXT Tag Team Championships. We had the Vanity Project versus Sean Legacy and Dorian Van Dux. Dorian Van Dux. So Vanity Project kind of arrived to start the show, pretty much being announced by Lillian Garcia, who was a special announcer for the night. Kicking off the match, Sean Legacy and Ricky Smokes started the action. Legacy overwhelmed Smokes with his grappling prowess, teasing early pin attempts to try to take the win. Smokes would tag in Brad Baylor, who pretty much had some against fresh Dorian Van Dux, as well as the quick tags of the challengers. Sean Legacy almost caught Smokes for the three with a snap kick and a standing moonsault. Dorian Van Dux gave Legacy wild air off the apron slingshot crossbody onto the champions to send the match to picture-to-picture commercial break. Coming back, the Vanity Project would take over the match, basically isolating Sean Legacy. Legacy eventually got the hot tag to Dorian Van Dux, who rolled over both men and almost picked up the pinfall off a springboard moonsault on Brad Baylor. The Vanity Project pretty much they attempted another double team maneuver, but Dorian threw Baylor into Smokes to set up a superplex into a splash and springboard 450 for a near fall, which was broken up by Baylor. Smokes tried to steal the win with a handful of tights, but Legacy and Dux shifted the pace and dived onto the champions outside. Jackson Drake distracted the referee while Micah Lockwood tripped Dorian over the top rope, followed by the combination diving foot stomp and reverse DDT for the victory. So Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes retain the NXT Tag Team Championships. Vanity Projects retain their Tag Team Championships. This was a great opening match for this show, basically showcasing the unreal athleticism of the challengers. I think these two teams can definitely lock it up again. So we'll see what happens after in the near future. We did have a segment in the locker room. Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights talked about ruining the Vanity Project's night. Cam Hendricks arrived to mock Bourne and promised a future title match, future title challenge. Next up, we had another segment with OTM confronting Saquon Sugars backstage, clearly refusing to help him with Dark State. We know those past history that OTM had to deal with Dark State, so they ain't trying to deal with anybody that was ever associated with them. Lucien Price and Bronco Nima then got in the faces of Birthright, where Alexis King tried to push Price to question Nima's intentions in AAA. Tristan Angels mocked Shiloh Hill, calling him a creepy hillbilly weirdo while holding his stolen tooth. He then crushed the tooth under his shoe. Hill appeared on a Titatron and told Angels with a deranged laugh that the fog is coming. Fast forward to another segment in Robert Stone's office. Natty argued for Nikita Lyons to get the shot at Zaria, while Izzy Dame and Lizzie Rain pretty much argued their cases for the championship opportunity. Robert Stone would agree to a fatal four-way for the title later on. That's pretty much how that segment ended. Next match we had Naruku versus Tate Wilder. There was a pre-tape that aired while Tate Wilder was heading to the ring. He basically explained that he was challenging Naruku because he did not fear any challenge. Naruku quickly brought the physical fight to Wilder, hit him with strong forearms into the ropes. The two basically brawled outside the ring, where Wilder managed to turn the tide with a strong kick off to the apron and send the match into picture-in-picture commercial break. And then Tate Wilder's advantage did not last long through the break, where Naruku will eventually fight back and wore down a 28-year-old adrenaline junkie. The former Evil pushed Wilder to the mat, basically grinding him down with chokeholds. Wilder found a way to fight back, hitting a rather impressive sling blade backbreaker. Nothing would slow down Naruku for long. He fired back into the abyss for the 3 count. While NXT was replaying the finish to this match, Tony D'Angelo arrived to attack Naruku. Naruku tried to miss Tony D'Angelo again, but the security, he ended up hitting the security instead. While the security struggled to contain the brawl, NXT went to another commercial break. Naruku and Wilder did not have much chemistry in this match, at least not to me. I feel like it was kind of a weird match for the most part, but it tends to happen with guys that don't have chemistry. And I'm looking at the comments here. Okay. Let's see. Man, I wish we had some mods for these weak ass commenters. So there was a post-match brawl. The post-match brawl was pretty solid after this match, pretty much selling the chaotic violence between Tony D'Angelo and Naruku. So I cannot wait to see these two go at it again. Next up, we had the Women's North American Championship. We have Zaria versus Lizzie Rain versus Izzy Dame versus Nikita Lyons. Let's see here. Prior to that, backstage segment, we had Saquon Sugars continuing to seek out tag team partners to fight Dark State. Even Hank Ledger, Tank Walker, and EK Prosper refused to trust him. And then moving on to the match itself, we had everyone make their way to the ring. Let's see here. Of course, Zaria is going to be the fan favorite, despite her being a heel. But it also helps that you got 2 heels in this match that a lot of people don't really care for. And so on commentary, you have Booker T basically praising Stone's confident decision and questioning why Zaria was defending her gold when her original challenger was hurt. So he was all over the place on commentary. Everyone threw physical offense in this match. Starting it out, we had headbutts from Lizzie to Zaria, and Zaria with her own headbutt. Lizzie pretty much even battle all the way around. Had a couple of brawls break out between Lizzie and Nikita and Zaria and Izzy. Just sent the match into picture-in-picture. And so as we came back from break, we still had the brawls going on, both fighting on the apron. And so Izzy Dane would catch Zaria carrying Nikita Lyons with a running knee to set up a near fall pin on Lizzie Rain. Izzy caught Nikita with another running knee. Lizzie stopped the pin, but Izzy caught her with a choke slam. Zaria broke that pinfall up. Zaria will catch Nikita with a rebound clothesline, which then laid out Lizzie with a fall away slam. Zaria then caught Izzy with a spear for a near fall. Natty and Carmen Petrovic will make their way to the ring, and attack Zaria, but Jada Parker will arrive to make the save. Oh, my baby. Jada brawl with Natty. Zaria spear Petrovic and then hit Nikita with a spear and F5 in the ring to win and retain her Women's North American Championship. It's weird because after this match, NXT transitioned into the highlights as Zaria spoke to the camera about her dominance. So it was just fucked up shit all the way around when it comes to the presentation. These shows, man, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but they had to get that shit right. The SmackDown, they went off air on SmackDown as Cody was making his way to the ring to save Nick Aldis from Gunther, and that shit, man, is fucking dumb. And here we go with this shit on NXT with the cameras. Like, come on, dog. But yeah, I thought this was a good, solid match. Good defense for Zaria. At least somebody with a women's championship is defending their shit. Can't say for the main roster champions. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley. Liv Morgan won the title back in April? She still ain't defended that bitch yet. Like, what the fuck we doing? And then Rhea hurt. We ain't seen us in a minute. It's APB out for Rhea. Like, come on, dog. Like, what we doing? So but it's good to see NXT doing their thing as always. Zaria, she fought hard for this championship and she's having a decent reign so far. So hopefully she has a long reign with this championship, and who knows, this could, propel her into the mix, down the line for the NXT Women's Championship. So we'll see how that plays out in the coming months. But yeah, this was a good showcase for Zaria. No drama. She did a thing. It would have made more sense to just have Nikita, take Layla Diggs spot in the match, even if even though it's the weaker match on paper, Nikita Lyons is, even though she's the Evolve champion, I don't think she's ready to be on the higher up, like the hierarchy of the NXT women's division. But yeah, Jada coming out there to help Zaria was interesting. Even if it was to get at Natty, kind of like made you wonder, like, oh, is Zaria really a heel? Like, she got people coming out to save her. So, like, but the crowd, like I said, the crowd loves her. So, we'll see how long they decide to really keep her a heel. We had another segment. Saquon Sugars was talking with Rand Sinclair and Kendal Gray about his team building struggles. Lola Vice interrupted to make clear she was not done with the NXT Women's Champion. So pretty much that was that little mini segment there. And here we go with our, let me see here. We had Jackson Drake with the Vanity Project versus Tavion Heights. Prior to that match, we had a segment in Robert Stone's office. Tony D'Angelo demanded that he wanted Naruku. Stone agreed to an NXT Championship match between the two next week. Tony D'Angelo promised to get Naruku back before the end of the night. Tavion Heights made his way out to the ring. He came out alone while Jackson Drake arrived with all of Vanity Project in his corner. Heights and Drake fired off one another early. Drake did his best to avoid the suplexes from Heights, including the ear clap, which was countered into a belly to belly. However, after a kick out out of a cocky pin attempt by Drake, Heights tossed Drake into the corner with an exploder suplex. Drake fell to the floor while all of the Vanity Project checked on their lead man as NXT went to a commercial break. Shown on the replay, you had Drake catching Heights with a springboard cutter for a near fall. Heights responded with the Northern Light suplex of his own for his own near fall. Drake found an edge by going after the knee of Heights with an Indian deathlock and figure four leg lock. As the action continued on, NXT showed Lola Vice preparing backstage for the main event. We saw an airplane spin, set up Heights, toss Drake into all of Vanity Project on the floor. Brad Baylor got onto the apron in response and distracted Heights for a Drake sunset flip pin to steal a victory. So the winner of this match was Jackson Drake. Good match, flowed better than some of the previous matches between these two. So we'll see how things play out in the future. NXT did show another hype vignette for Raina Vulcan, formerly known as Nikki Blackheart, which ended with a promise of her debut next week. So I cannot wait to see that unfold. And so here we are backstage. Saquon Sugars ran into Noam Dar and Romeo Moreno. And Sugars, they both convinced Dar that they should team up. Before heading to the ring, Callie Armstrong found Kendal Gray and Ren Sinclair, promising victory. Jada Parker warned Callie about her attitude. Natty, Carmen Petrovic, and Nikita Lyons laid out Jada Parker. And then we had Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice making their entrances before the commercial break. So the main event was basically Lola Vice versus Kalani Jordan versus Callie Armstrong, number one contenders match for the NXT Women's Championship. Before the main event, Vic Joseph did hype up Roman Reigns and Jalen Brunson, both appearing for Saturday night's main event in Madison Square Garden. And NXT did show a pre-taped video of Shawn Spears returning to Full Sail University, where he talked up Izzy Dame and Nico Vance's growth before promising to test Nico next week. Vic Joseph also followed up on his rundown before the commercial break by announcing a rematch next week between Natty and Jada Parker. As this main event match began, Vic called out that Kalani Jordan is 0-8 in number one contender matches, indicating that this could be her last shot. Callie Armstrong quickly took over with her power, repeatedly body slamming both Lola Vice and Kalani Jordan. Jordan and Vice found their ways to slip through the grasp of the least experienced competitor in Callie, keeping the action moving. Callie fired back on the floor, laying out both women as NXT headed into another fucking commercial break. It was picture in picture, so I give them that credit. But yeah, so Lola Vice took over during a little break and started the final stretch by hitting Kalani Jordan with repeat hip attacks. And of course, Booker T was in rare form. But yeah, Callie Armstrong caught Lola for the pin attempt, and Kalani broke up. Let me see here. Yeah, so Callie, she caught Lola for a pin attempt, which Kalani Jordan broke up, followed by a defeat on both opponents. Kalani went for the one-of-a-kind moonsault, but Lola reversed into a triangle choke. Kalani turned into a jackknife pin that Callie broke up. There was a series of pin attempts for all three women, ended with Kalani frog splash on Vice for another near fall. Callie sent Kalani out of the ring, then hit the Callie connection on Lola, who fell out of the ring. Kalani nearly caught Callie with a pin that looked like a 3. Lola caught Callie with a back fist, followed by Kalani hitting one-of-a-kind moonsault on Callie. Lola threw Kalani out and took the pin for the victory. So she threw out Kalani Jordan and pinned Callie for the victory. So Lola Vice is now the number one contender to the NXT Women's Championship, and she gets her rematch against Kendal Gray for that championship that she lost at the previous pay-per-view. I forgot what it was, but yeah. So this is going to be a good match between these two, round 2 for this championship. Kalani Jordan is now 0-9 in number one contenders matches. I don't know what's going to happen with this girl, man. She just can't get it done. She just can't get it done. Like Stephen A said, you got to get it done. Period. She can't get it done. She can't get it done. She a former NXT North American, NXT Women's North American champion. But when it comes to NXT Women's Championship, she can't get it done. She can't get it done, dog. And hey, I don't know what the future holds for her, but it ain't looking too nice. But yeah, so the show ended with another next week card rundown until the cameras caught Tony D'Angelo and Naraku brawling again in the NXT parking lot. And we know nothing good ever happens in the parking lot, the NXT parking lot. And they were brawling yet again. And Robert Stone would eventually announce that the NXT Championship match is now a street fight. So next, oh man, it's gonna be some shit, man. I'm telling you, y'all better stay tuned, hey, because it's getting real out here in these streets on NXT. So yeah, that was pretty much the show. A lot of action packed tonight, so yeah, we'll catch y'all next week. Virgil should be back for the next week's episode of Who's Next in NXT. So it's Big Daddy C signing out. Thanks for all tuned in to the show. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Coach will be giving you the AEW recap, and then Friday, Teddy Long will be giving you the Friday SmackDown Throwdown. And then Sunday we got our Sunday Night Stunner, and we'll have everybody on hopefully. So catch y'all then. Peace.